Well, good morning and welcome to the final Breakfast at Tiffany's for 2020. I am your host, Reverend Tiffany Williams. I am the proud founder and leader of the Esther Project. I'm also a pastor of outreach and evangelism at the Upper Room Church in Edison, New Jersey. And these conversations are brought to you as a collaboration between those two entities, the Upper Room Church and the Esther Project. I am blessed to have had the opportunity for the past few months to gather with these beautiful, beautiful co-hosts of mine, Ceylone Boothe-Grooms, beauty blogger, mom extraordinaire, sister in empowerment, board member of the Esther Project, Sara Pena, and these are all my sister friends too, might I add, who is the executive director of the Center for Hispanic Policy Research and Development in the state of New Jersey. She's also the founder of Boys to Leaders Foundation. She is a powerhouse, as is Ceylone in the state of New Jersey. And last but not least, I am honored to have had these conversations for all of 2020 with my own mother, Pastor Phyllis Williams. She's the executive pastor of the Upper Room Church. My mom, my hero, my superhero, my Wonder Woman, my modern day Esther. So we are excited to come to you today for the very last time in 2020. You know, we actually came up with this idea as a way to just continue to make sure that women were engaged and empowered in the midst of this pandemic as well. You know, we had been working with women through the Esther Project, but, you know, Sara in particular was very concerned about women having strategies also. As soon as we started doing this, she said, you know, women need strategies and they need to know how to shift during this time. So Sara, have you seen women shift in 2020?
I sure have. I sure have, including myself. There's been a
Mm.
shift in so much, during this difficult time has also come a time of opportunity. So I'm looking forward to hearing from all of our sisters today on the chat on how their life has shifted in the last few months, as well as us sharing our stories. Thanks, Tiffany.
So I look forward to us delving in today, and we're going to have a conversation among ourselves and with you. Normally on Breakfast at Tiffany's, we interview and hear from women who are living with passion and purpose. Today, you're going to hear from us, the women who are the co-hosts who are living with passion and purpose, as we shift a little bit today from less of just an interview with an amazing woman who's just unlocking her journey to success. We're going to share a little, as Sara even gave a prelude of how we have shifted this year, what we think is needed to kind of shift to create the new normal. That's our theme today. We want to help you to create the new normal for 2021 and to really enter 2021 feeling confident and in control and with a plan. So everything was so unexpected this year, but we want to empower you with some strategies to move forward. Ceylone, you have, and so we're doing a few reflections as well. So Sara, I'm glad that you reflected that your goals were met, giving women strategies through this Breakfast at Tiffany's this year. And Ceylone, you have empowered us all year long to bring out our best self in beauty and self-care tips. What are your reflections on whether you think we were successful with imparting this new normal of self-care to our sisters and in your own life?
I think we were successful. I am so proud of the work we've been doing with Breakfast at Tiffany's and with the Esther Project, making sure that women have the tools to step forward and be their best selves. And I think self-care really, really was important during this pandemic, not only because you want to take care of yourself and you want to be in a great mental space, but for health reasons. Like, you had to take care of yourself to make sure that you were not going to get the virus. And so that meant eating better, getting proper sleep, taking supplements and vitamins and stuff like that. And I think that we have been doing a really, really good job, and just having a sisterhood and somewhere where we can go and count on people that are going to affirm us and make sure that we are on the right road and the right track. That's really, really important, because this time of quarantine could have been very, very isolating. But every month people knew that they had a group of sisters that they were going to speak to, that were going to be, their friends and a lending ear. So I think that we've done a really good job.
Well, I am proud of what we're done as well. And thank you for being our leader of reminding us of self-care. And Felicia Romano said in the chat, self-care was magnified in 2020. That's right.
Yes,
That
yes.
is right. And we're going to elevate it even higher in 2021 as a part of our new normal. So
Right.
Mom, good morning. And you have been an integral part as we reflect on Breakfast at Tiffany's for 2020 of helping us to just go higher spiritually, and showing us in 2020 during this pandemic that, our spiritual health is important too. So are you pleased with how your spiritual life has even elevated, and those of the women that you have been imparting into?
Good morning, everyone. Thank you, Tiffany. Absolutely successful. Number one, I look forward to it each month. The speakers have been phenomenal, what they've imparted. So yes, our mark has been hit, just wide open. And spiritually, there is just an atmosphere of growth amongst the women. The ones that I've interacted with personally, they have certainly demonstrated that they've drawn closer in relationship to the Lord, or their faith, their religious beliefs. So it has, because of what they hear and what you portray, what you believe, and what you demonstrate, what you live, it's definitely a success. So I pray that we continue to move forward in 2021 at full speed. And I have grown through this pandemic, more time with the Lord, more time with family. It's just been a wonderful experience in spite of what we've had to deal with in the negative.
Well, I'm excited to see how we continue to grow spiritually as sisters, as queens of our own purpose. And in reflecting, back on 2020 and really starting this journey, I think that I can say that I really have enjoyed the opportunity on a monthly basis to come and to share my heart, to share that which is important to me, and the women and the network that's been important to me as well with you all. And it's truly been my honor. It has been my honor to do so. So let's get started with a little coffee talk. So today for our breakfast conversation, we like to bring out some breakfast item that we love. So today, Sara, I'm seeing you on the screen. It won't flip over to me, but okay. We'll leave you up on the screen.
One thing we have learned is technology, right, everyone? We can all agree that we can do a little bit better than we were a year ago with technology.
Exactly. But what are you drinking this morning for your morning beverage?
I still, from the beginning, just pre-COVID and just the stress, right? You're working, your neck just kind of tenses, your whole body, or something's going on at home, how to relax. So I have been drinking more tea in these beautiful teacups I received as a gift during quarantine with little butterflies on them. It's a beautiful set. So I drink some good sleepy time tea even during the day. So instead of putting 3 bags like I would at night, I only put 1 bag during the day to help me relax so I'm not knocked out. But it does help me relax. But what I really start off with is a green tea, an antioxidant. As I stretch in the morning, hear prayer, just kind of like, read a scripture, something, meditate on it, stretch, have some green tea, just kind of get me going. And then during the day, I'll put a bag of like you know, just some sleepy time. And then at night I put 3 or 4 bags in the water.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah, I don't know how to do things moderately. If you haven't noticed during this whole Esther, you know, breakfast at Tiffany's and the Esther, I don't do things moderately. I have to go way to the other side. But you know, that's me, and that's keeping it real, and that's just who I am.
Well, and that's a beautiful first thing to know about yourself. And second, a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful tradition. I have, and Ceylone, I'll call on you next, but I have my favorite mug from Harrods and my Harrods strawberry tea. I wanted to take it back to the beginning where we started. And when we started Breakfast at Tiffany's, our breakfast tradition that we were emphasizing was tea and the beauty and importance of using tea as a tradition to just fellowship with other sisters. So I went back and got my strawberry tea from Harrods. Okay, Ceylone, what are you drinking this morning?
Okay, so because it's Christmas time, I am drinking Candy Cane Lane Holiday Tea. It's a peppermint tea with green tea and vanilla notes. It's so, so good. I am drinking it in my holiday cup. It's a Merry Christmas mug, a glass mug, and I have a little tiny gingerbread house on the side. It's edible, so cute. And keeping in with the holiday theme. And then on the side, I actually have a gingerbread cookie. I'm all about the gingerbread this morning. I'm really getting in the Christmas spirit, even though I'm having Christmas spirit all year round because I'm a Christmas crazy person. But I am enjoying some quality time with my Candy Cane Lane.
I love it. I love it. And I'm just realizing, do y'all see the Salon shirt says Santa Baby on it? I love it.
We know what's her favorite holiday, don't we?
Yes.
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 Beautiful.
Okay. So, Mom, what about you? What are you drinking this morning? And what's kind of your go-to when you're on the phone talking to all those women that you empower all the time and pray with?
Well, this morning, everyone, I'm drinking an organic Echinacea Plus. I'm all about the immune system during this time. That's what I've been on, that and green matcha for the last few weeks. I'm drinking it in a wonderful a cup that I was gifted to. It's awesome, very feminine. And my go-to is generally the ginger turmeric. I believe it's a Trader Joe's staple. I really like that. I try and incorporate healthiness into whatever tea that I'm drinking. So,
Well, we want to drink whatever you're drinking to look the way you look, my dear. And Mom is celebrating a birthday in a few short weeks, right before the end of 2020. She's a December 30th baby. She got in right under the wire. But you look amazing, my dear, and I want what you're having. So green matcha it is. So we're going to get into our official breakfast talk today to transform your life and our life and have us to just kick off 2021 and to finish 2020 strong. So we hope that you have your tea. If you don't have it, or your coffee, while we're talking, just go ahead and get it, because I want you to consider making that a new normal of you starting out your day nurturing you. So my nephew stayed with me this week, and he was homeschooling, which I didn't find out until he was literally, his parents were going out the door from dropping him off. I thought he was on break. You know, I'm very disconnected. I'm a single person. They're probably thinking, well, duh, of course, like kids are in school now. I wasn't really connected with that. So I feel like I have gotten into the mind of you at home with your children, moms who are homeschooling. It's a task, right? But it just requires, I shouldn't say just requires, it requires planning, and planning to take care of yourself as well. So I want us to consider, even as we have shared breakfast tips with you all year during Breakfast at Tiffany's, what are the traditions that you can grab a hold to that nurture you? Now, maybe you can't do them every single morning, but maybe there's one morning in the week that you decide, I'm going to have my French toast, or I'm going to have my oatmeal. We haven't talked about oatmeal. Maybe we can do that in January. I have a lot of good oatmeal recipes. But maybe you have your croissant, whatever you want to have that nourishes you, that nurtures just the relaxation and the self-care in you. But I want you to think about, what is your breakfast tradition going to be? And are you just using the mug that someone gave you at some, I don't know, at the car wash or the cleaners? Or are you intentionally going to select a cup that brings and invokes some good memories and feelings for you? Now, I love this mug because it reminds me of it's Harrods from London. I'm a global person. I love to travel, and it reminds me of my stop off in London. I've actually never been out of the airport in London. I've only just connected through Heathrow quite a few times. But this particular trip, I was coming back from Saudi Arabia, going back and forth. And so this mug just reminds me, this teacup reminds me of that experience and that trip. And I was going to teach and impart at a women's law school, which is a part of my purpose. So when I drink my tea, and it's my Harrods tea that otherwise I would not have the opportunity to just go get, it reminds me and keeps me grounded in who I am and that which I aspire to as well. So it's aspirational, right? To be able to maybe have my Harrods tea every day because I'm living in London, or frequently going to London. There's a smell that I have on today from the same trip. I really wanted to remember my trip, so I got a perfume scent made by an Arab designer. Many of you may know him, Elie Saab. He actually designs clothes as well, but wonderful fragrance. And so I just connected those themes so that I would be able to reconnect to those feelings. So I want you to think, even now as we're continuing our conversation, what are those mental triggers that you can give yourself in creating your new normal? And it starts with, how do you start your day? So let me go back to the homeschooling for a moment. I quickly realized I had to write down a schedule, my nephew's schedule first. And I had to figure out, like, where I was needed in that process, what preparation I needed to do to make sure that he was engaged at every step of the way. Because I realized they have breaks, they have they have all kinds, they have breakout rooms, they have all kinds of stuff going on. And sometimes, depending on the age of a child, they need a little guidance or redirect because they're home after all. It's a different mental space for them. So even if you have that and work going on, or just your own responsibilities that you're trying to do while you're sharing space with others, having anyone that's relying on you schedule kind of as a framework can help you. Oh, Tawanda Thorne James, thank you, best auntie ever. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. So why that's also funny is that my nephew, as leverage to me, well, if I don't give him what he wants, he'll tell me that Aunt Tawanda is now his favorite auntie. Or my Aunt Lily, his great aunt, is his favorite auntie now, and not me. So thank you, Tawanda, for giving me that title back. But we have to carve out, where are people relying on us? So what is it that perhaps we can't totally control? Now, that is an area that can get frustrating sometimes if you feel like others relying on you is not giving you room to be who you are and what you want to do. But as we are creating the new normal, we are going to shift that mindset. So a lot of what we're going to talk about today is shifting the mindset. I see one of my students on, Emily McLean. That's another example. Maybe you're in school. Emily's a law student extraordinaire, and Emily doesn't determine always when her classes are given and how much work is given. And so having a framework, even if you're in school, when are your office hours that you want to go to talk with your professor, how much study time, having that as a core framework. So the first thing in creating the new normal is having that sense of where are the things that you have less control over because they are just a part of your responsibility, and creating a framework around that. Now, we can revisit that as well, because sometimes we think that everything that is involved in a thing that we don't have control over. Sometimes we, as Sara said, she goes extra. Sometimes we go extra. So I had to realize, you know what? I don't have to have a snack prepared at every break for my nephew. It's really okay. It's really okay. He'll be fine. Now, it's nice to think about, does he need a snack at any given time? But you know what? When I'm grading my exams and I can't break away to make that snack, it's really okay. Same with work. On Wednesday, I opted out of like 4 different meetings from 4 different kind of corners of work and other civic responsibilities. And that's okay. The new normal is I am going to do what is in alignment with my purpose. I am going to be involved in that which nourishes my self care. If I have responsibilities that are competing with my sanity at any given moment or threaten to compromise my self care, I am not going to move forward in them. And it is okay. It is okay. Stephanie Ward, I love that you said that your goal in the chat is to stay in your lane. We're going to get to that, Stephanie. We're going to get to that, because being intentional leaders is what we are about, sisters. Being intentional leaders. We are leading our purpose, and we're doing it intentionally, which means it's not random. So, creating the new normal means you are no longer just randomly operating at the whim and control of other people. Now, where is my, okay, this is the first device, okay, that you are not at the whim and control of. So I want everyone to touch your phone, your iPad, all of that. And I want you to look at it and say, you don't control me. You don't own me. You don't rule me. I want you to look at your text messages. I want you to look at your emails. I want you to look at your social media. And I want you to tell it, you do not control me. My new normal is, this is a tool of my purpose. It does not tell me what to do. I tell it what to do. So if I had any money in my wallet, I don't care. This is another single woman thing. I know my dad, if he hears this, is like, how many years do we have to go over this? Please keep cash on you. I just don't. I'm working on it. So I would flash some money right now and say that we're not going to let our need and desire for money control us in the new normal. In fact, we understand that our money and our desire for it, or our capacity to earn it, is something that we use to further our purpose. So therefore, we're not making decisions just based on earning money. That's the new normal. And so look at what's happened in 2020. How many employers who have perhaps given you a hard time over the years, wanting to work from home, wanting to have a flexible work arrangement? Oh, it was like you were the slacker of the universe if you dared to want to take your children to school first and then go to work so that your poor child doesn't have to be at someone's daycare at 6 in the morning. These employers acted like, you're crazy for kind of wanting that, and you need to step it up. I've been in the room with these conversations, so I know what I'm talking about. um, and now look what happens in 2020. We see that the world actually did not fall apart because we were not physically in the office doing the work at a certain time. So there has been a shift that we can see in how we work and how employers even recognize that we can work. So, in creating our new normal for ourselves, that should translate into what we know we are willing to do just to earn a paycheck. So as we go into 2021 and as we go into even decisions by companies to resume in-person operations, I encourage you to think professionally about what sort of lifestyle and conditions work best for you. If you enjoy not having to get up, at 3 and 4 in the morning to have like a 2 hour commute, maybe you're realizing how much time you were wasting in a commute, and that's not what you want to do anymore, then that becomes a part of your new normal. So I'm going to ask my co-host just a few discussion questions, and we hope that you will be answering these in the chat also, and just this may be a good time to, I always have a notepad. You see my stickies because I always have to organize my notes, and a pen. Breakfast at Tiffany's today is out of the box of what we normally do. I've been teaching a lot overseas, so I'm in teacher mode. So we want to use one another today in this classroom of empowerment to shift our own paradigm and to shift into the new normal. So I want to ask my co-host, what is the status quo that you feel that you had to let go of in 2020? And I want our queens that are listening and in the chat to respond to that as well. And I'll put the question in the chat. What is the status quo that you had to let go of in 2020? Sara, what do you think about that? What's your status quo you had to let go of?
Wow. That's a deep question, but I'm not going to overthink it. And I'm just going to say, I think I had to let go of feeling that pressure that I had to respond to things quickly. I had to be working all the time in order to feel like I was making a difference. So I kind of stepped back and said, wait a minute, kind of to your point of it's okay. It's okay if I don't return that text tonight because I'm not ready to answer, or call my mom because I'm not in the right place. She's 80 something years old. She doesn't need to feel that vibe or what's happening. It's okay to take some time and just binge on a show. It's okay. Where for me personally, I didn't do those things. I would feel guilty about that, watching TV for so many hours. Maybe I should be working. I work all the time, as much as I can. And I think I took some time to just say, Sara, it's okay to take care of yourself. I think that was the most important thing. I'm so grateful to the Esther Project that happened during this time. It was so instrumental for many of us. I know I probably speak for many of us, how that we had some time to really commit to the project, spend some time in reflection time. So I think there were so many things with me personally. It's a work in progress, and just being patient with myself. things, some of us have been working on this for years. This is not overnight. I'm not going to change those old habits. I'm not going to overnight. It's work in progress. And I'm okay with that today. And there's times I might trip and fall, but I'll get myself back up with my sisters, make a call, to my pastor, Tiffany, Salon, my sisters, and then I'm okay, right? Just talking it out. So I think it's a lot of that. And it all kind of comes back to self-care and just awareness.
You said so many important things there, and thank you for your transparency. I put a few in the chat. It's okay to engage in self-care. You don't have to respond right away to someone's text or outreach, and being patient with yourself. A key to shifting to your new normal is to be patient with yourself. And I see, Rose, you said I had to step back and get used to not having things done on my time. Long lines and wait time everywhere. Yeah. I mean, that is a part of the new world's normal. And then, Rose, I want you to keep thinking about, what is that informing in you about your new normal? Rose, do you need to just go ahead and have stuff delivered? Or is your wait time something that now you can use to maybe do some meditation while you're waiting? And I'm not talking about some of the transcendental type of new age meditation that a lot of people are talking about these days. But to meditate generally means that you are reflecting on something intentionally in your mind. So, you can meditate on what you're seeing outside, the beauty of nature. What is it inspiring in you? You can just listen a little more intently to what's going on. You can pray. You can do all kinds of things during that time. Carlene, you feel like you need to be a savior for your siblings making the same mistakes that you did. And Carlene, are you the oldest? Put that in the chat for me if you're the oldest, if you have the oldest savior syndrome. Um, this left me taking care of everyone else, neglecting my own self-care. Carlene, that is such an honest and real barrier potentially to your own purpose being fulfilled because you're so worried about everyone else. So we can shift that. So we don't want to not care about our siblings. We don't want to not provide wisdom and guidance because that's our heart speaking out. But what we do want to do is filter it first by what our own priorities are. We're going to talk about priorities. Okay, Carlene, you're the third child. Oh, that's impressive. Your mom's only daughter. There you go. That's probably why. And this started when she passed, in 2014. So that's natural, Carlene. So maybe think about how you can shift that so that it's in alignment maybe with your self-care needs. So maybe you schedule time when you have a phone call or a Zoom or exchange funny videos by text or WhatsApp or something with your siblings. That's a form of your own self-care and nurturing your relationship with them. And maybe think about not even focusing it on giving them advice. I have learned since turning 40, I always said I was going to write this book. So this is 40 and these little lessons I learned. And the first one is, Carlene, this applies to you. Don't tell grown folks nothing about their business. I know that's not grammatically correct, but it emphasizes the point. Nothing. Don't tell grown folks nothing about their business. Ladies, this is important for new normal. Like we have to understand, because I think we want to kind of help people a little more. I think our species, people don't really want advice. They really don't. They want you to affirm. This is just my theory. I believe people really want you to kind of affirm what they want to do. Okay, that is the basic. Now, some people will listen to your advice to do something different than what they want to do. But I'm telling you, I promise, after many years in ministry and teaching and leading people, people want you to affirm what they really want to do. In shifting and creating a new normal, my recommendation is to shift to helping people to draw out and be honest about what it is they want to do, and to be honest about the consequences that may flow from the choices that they feel like they want to do. So instead of spending your time on the phone, Carlene, maybe, or stressing out off the phone about wanting to impart these lessons to your siblings, which is natural, I've been there, perhaps let it go and just love on your siblings. And when and if one of your siblings, which if they're brothers, they're probably not going to come to you with their problems, but if they do, then I maybe shifting to create a new normal means that you are listening and asking questions of them to let them reveal to you what is their priority, what they really want to do. And then walking them through, well, what do you think would happen if you did that? Is that in alignment with what would make you happy? And so I think shifting how we relate to people can be very empowering and nurturing in our self care. Does anyone feel like you are pulled on a lot by other people? Just put in the chat yes or no if you can relate to that. When you feel like you are pulled on by other people, maybe some of these strategies can help you to shift to a new normal as well. Okay, so we talked a little bit, and thank you, Sara, for sharing the status quo that you needed to let go of. So in shifting to create the new normal, we've talked about this a little bit, but let's look at what are some areas that may be beyond your control and you are seeing kind of no progress forward in that area, right? So you can't control it and you're not moving forward. Can anyone relate to that? Is there any area of your life where you just feel like, all right, Stephanie, thank you for being honest about that. Housing and employment. All right, Felicia can relate. Yes, yes. Any panelists want to weigh in on that? Salon mom, Sara, is there any area in your life? You don't have to share what it is, but can you relate to that at all?
I can. Because at first I was like, no, I don't think I can relate. And then, yeah, of course I can. Health, going through my, health issues or things that are beyond my control. And I can control it a bit by eating better, exercising, all that great stuff. But a lot of the health issues that I deal with are things that are beyond my control. And sometimes that can be scary. It can be frustrating. But what I focus on are the things that I can control, like prayer, like just trusting in God that everything is going to be okay. Because no matter what happens, everything will be okay. The world will keep spinning. But also doing the things that I can do in the meantime to make it to have as much control as I possibly can. So that is doing the things that I can do to make the situation better than not. So yeah, health issues sometimes that I have to deal with, and even with one of my kids who are very that has special needs, dealing with his other issues that are beyond my control. But I'm moving forward, trusting in the Lord, praying a lot, and that's where prayer really comes in handy too. When you know that everything happens for a reason, for a purpose, and just working yourself through it.
Mm. And you mentioned having a son with special needs, my godson, Elijah.
Yes.
And there are many moms out there who are in a similar situation, and it may feel overwhelming during the pandemic. Do you have any advice for them shifting to create a new normal when you're looking to serve the needs of a special needs child that has a lot of needs, because there is a range?
Right. Yes, and of course, my son has Cornelia-de-Lange syndrome, a very rare syndrome that affects like 1 in every 10,000 births. It affects his overall development, so he is severely delayed in all aspects: growth, mental capability, just everything. And he needs constant care. What How I deal with it is, I know that this is a gift from God. God did not This was not by accident. God said, I know you can handle it, so you're going to handle it. And I really, really am not only proud of myself, proud of my entire family, everyone who's around me who helps lend support and help when it comes to Elijah, and also giving myself a break. I am not a doctor. I am not a miracle worker. I allow what is going to be. And I do my research. I listen to him and his needs in terms of, like, if is he crying? Is he upset? Like, are things going on? But I also don't make myself crazy, and I don't waste time feeling sorry for myself or sorry for him, because that is energy wasted. The energy that I can use, the energy that I would use doing that, I can be using making his life as best as I possibly can make it, and making sure that I am in the best space possible so that I can continue to care for him the best way I can.
And you do an amazing job at that. And we commend you for that. Awesome. Awesome advice.
Thank you.
Pastor Phyllis, I think I saw you unmuting as well.
Salon really covered all of the comments. I was going to make a comment that when you do realize that you cannot change that situation, um, you have to let go and let God truly have his way. And as Salon mentioned, to focus on the positive, focus on the blessings that you do have and what you can control. So when we do our best to do our best with what we can manipulate or so forth, that's it. That's all that's required of us. God says, I got the rest. Just do what you can do. And I am reminded of the scripture: when you've done all that you can do, just stand. Just stand.
Mm, awesome advice. Stand, stand, stand. So when creating the new normal, I raise this example because this is the heart of where we may need a new normal, is in the areas that we cannot control and we see no forward movement. And so we heard some themes from both Mom and Salon of surrender. So the new normal may require you to surrender things that you cannot control. That's why I think having a spiritual core is so important, because if you are just using your mind and your intellect, right, you're going to be tired trying to figure out, as Stephanie said, she said that she has, with housing and employment, those are two areas she's reached a wall. Sister Sharon Benjamin can't control the fact that she can't see her grandchildren. I know how important they are to her, and to all the grandparents out there that can't embrace their grandchildren that may live out of state. I haven't seen it. It'll be a year very soon that I haven't seen my dad. It's about 9 months since I have seen my mom, and everyone that knows me knows that's probably an impossibility. The girl that used to drive from Boston on weekends from law school just to see her family, for like a day. So this is the area where you may need to just surrender, and having a spiritual practice, a spiritual core, gives you that elevated faith. That's that thing that you're standing on that you can't see. That's the thing you're hoping for, even though it hasn't come to pass. And I heard Salon also talking about some incremental steps. So sometimes we may be thinking too big in those areas. So Stephanie, I don't know, maybe you are on LinkedIn networking for like 6 hours a day, right? And it just feels like I have done everything I can do. Step back and rethink, what can I possibly do differently? So sometimes we're doing a lot of things, and sometimes we may have to shift and do one thing, but go deeper. So, who's one contact on LinkedIn that I can nurture a relationship with and go a little deeper with that person and maybe learn a little bit more from them over time? It may feel like, well, if I did this, I mean, with every person I know, I'll never be done. But this is about momentum and moving forward in a different direction. If you hit a brick wall, you cannot just keep standing there pounding on it, right? Turn around and go the other way. Or if it's the only way forward, you get yourself a little chisel and you start chiseling away. Did anyone ever see Shawshank Redemption and all of these prison outbreak shows, and the one that happened, in our lifetime in upstate New York? There's a great movie. I think it even won awards on that outbreak. So you just, maybe your shift is taking incremental steps. Go much, much smaller and let the momentum continue to build, or the new strategies begin to arise. And sometimes when someone hears you, maybe with that chisel, they'll come over to see what's going on, and maybe they'll help you, and maybe their tool is a little bigger. And then before you know it, maybe someone comes over with their sledgehammer and their strength, and they are helping you to knock that down. And then before you know it, maybe someone has one of those big old demolition ride-on machines, and they're like, oh, just move out the way, hold on, doop 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 doop, and boom. Or maybe someone comes up, there's still some of that wall left. I specialize in blowing stuff up. Y'all move. I have the explosives needed to obliterate this. So keep moving forward. So let's talk about priorities. How have your priorities shifted, ladies, in 2020? How have your priorities shifted? We've talked about self-care being higher up on the list during the pandemic in particular. Any other examples of how have your priorities shifted? What was important to you before that's maybe not as important? And what are you realizing is critically important to you? And I will start by saying, I always knew that like having peace was important to me, but I'm a lot. I can have quite a personality. I'm energetic. I like to be out and about. And there is a certain frenetic pace that I like to keep, or I just felt like I was not being productive. Well, I have kind of reprioritized that and realized that my own like kind of just peace in how I go about things. I no longer feel as comfortable with the frenzy aspect. Now, it may still look frenetic to others because I just have a lot of energy and I move very fast. But for me, I have slowed down to a pace where it's just like a humming that's going on, as opposed to a lot of just noise of things shaking and shattering. So I have learned the things that I need to say no to. No is such an empowering word sometimes. We tell children, don't tell an adult no. But when we grow up, that should be one of our go-tos in maintaining our own boundaries. And no doesn't have to be no. No can be, no, thank you. I appreciate the opportunity. Oh, thank you so much for thinking of me. But no, no, thank you. No. And that can be to a relationship, to a friendship, and to a text message, to an email. Block is the new no. I have been late to some technological advancements. Honestly, I just didn't know the power of block on social media, on stuff. And I will tell many of you, if you've ever tried to reach me, I can't. Okay, we're gonna really get into this, right? Because this is the key. I saw someone in the chat talking about using airplane mode for your phone. It can help you with the notifications and so forth. Okay, I really think in creating the new normal, you have to have a routine with how you're managing your communications that is in alignment with what we're talking about, your priorities. So critically think about how your priorities have shifted. So if I'm being less frenetic, I am not going to be communicating with you or anybody else on Twitter, Facebook, Pinterest, LinkedIn, the Facebook Messenger, on Facebook, on every comment, on Instagram, Instagram Live, Facebook Live. I have like several pages on Facebook for the Esther Project, so you can reach me there. I can't do all of that. I can't do it. Why? I'm one person and I don't have an operation and a team of people, right, in my own personal life, right, managing all this. Now, I hopefully will have that in the future, right, as I expand and grow and do things. But while I am one person, I have to manage my communications carefully. So my rule for myself is I really don't text a lot. I really don't. I don't even look, as Sara said, I don't even look at my texts all the time. People may not understand it. You don't have to. But I do not look at this phone. This phone, actually, for most of the day, if I am honoring my priorities, it is not even near me. It is not by me. It is literally in another room. Or if it's by me, it's because I'm using a productivity app, a Pomodoro timer. We can talk about that another time. It goes 25 minutes, you take a 5-minute break, 25 minutes, 5-minute break. That's what I use my phone for, to help me to do what I need to do. Now, I will block certain messages. I will block people who are connected to me more in the outer court, right? Who may not fully understand my priorities, that want things like, can I come on your page selling my paparazzi jewelry? But we've never really met, but I have allowed you to be Facebook friends, right? So, or in the inbox, what would you call it? Facebook Messenger inbox. You know how you can just use that to just blast out stuff. That's fine if that works for you. But what I want you to think about in creating the new normal, does it work for you to be the recipient of it? And if it doesn't, where do you need to use the tools that you have to block that? How many of you are very disciplined about unsubscribing to unsolicited emails, even from businesses that you frequent? Can I just tell you a little secret? There is nothing that any store needs to email you about. Not one thing, not one. Because as we're shifting to the new normal of how do we spend our money, which is another thing I want you to think about, how has your priorities also been expressed in how you spend your money now? So why aren't we perhaps now, as a new normal, planning more? And so when you need and you get to the point on your list where, say, like me, you need a new air fryer, you need an air fryer. So I decided one of my priorities was I needed to cook more and prepare my own meals more and eat out less. So I realized I did not have all the tools. So I really didn't need Bed Bath & Beyond to be emailing me for 52 weeks out of the year in order for me to go to Bed Bath & Beyond's website with the help of a sister friend on the phone who was giving me a recommendation. And I found a coupon and a sale price item, all at the timing that I needed it. I did not need them to solicit me all year in order to meet my needs that day. So what happens is these companies are spending millions of dollars to try to entice you and solicit you, and might I add, to collect your personal data. So in the new, and what is that doing to serve your purpose? So in the new normal, reconsider how you communicate and how you allow others to communicate with you. So I communicate by my two basics are you can call me if you have my number, or you can email me. That's it. So I go two places for my main communications, answering my phone. And a lot of times I have it off, so I may have to call you back because I stay focused during the day. Focused, focused, focused. Or if we're emailing, that's probably because there is information that you need to impart to me or I need to impart to you. Think about it. Is it easier to see all these details in a text message that you can't even print out somewhere? Or maybe in an email that you can save, you can archive, you can even use folders to sort it. It doesn't even have to come to your inbox. If you're very efficient and know how to use folders in that way, that you can kind of try to keep your inbox a little clearer. But sisters, be intentional in the new normal about how you communicate with others and how others communicate with you. If you're doing business with someone or soliciting them to do some business with you, my communication style may not be yours, so I'm not imposing that on you, but just think about what works for you. And consider this: text message conversations, right? They can last for like a long time, right? Think about it. That's the nature of text. You could get a text, hi, hi, how are you? I'm good. What you doing? Oh, not much. If that works for you, that's fine, right? But if in the new normal, you're a little more intentional, you may want to just pick up the phone. Hey girl, how you doing? Oh, da da da. Hearing that person's voice, hearing their intonation, and efficiently getting to the business even of fellowship. It can be the business of nothingness on the phone, right? But isn't it richer to have a real experience? Our technology can falsely cause us to believe that we are in relationships that we're not, right? So use your communications to be like the cherry on your electronic communications, to be like the cherry on top, as opposed to the whole sundae. And in your new normal, consider how can I just go a little deeper or be more efficient and honor another sister or brother, whoever I'm communicating with for my purpose. How can I honor the fact that they are living their purpose in an intentional way? So if I want to invite them to do something, I just in one communication, make the ask and give the details. That would allow them to just say, yes, I'll be there, or to ask further clarifying questions. But communication, sisters, is something that I want you to truly consider committing to really, 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 really looking at and creating a new normal around it. And considering whether your new normal is in alignment with your purpose, what you are about, what you need to accomplish, what your priorities are, what is the status quo you needed to give up. How are your communications serving you in that way? Amy, I love how you said the best way to be misunderstood is by not hearing voices and only reading words on your phone. Now, I know we can probably all, especially in this political climate, think of examples of conflict and controversy among people that has broken out because of comments either on social media or text messages or emails, where just as Amy Burns said, that you can't tell maybe what someone is saying. Felicia, I see you said working with businesses leveraging market share. I have a different perspective on why these options are utilized. Now, Felicia, business is different. Business is different. So I'm not speaking to anyone about how they should use these channels in conducting their business in the marketplace. I probably would give you the total opposite advice. I care about you as a woman, and I'm trying to protect you at the highest essence of your own self care. And especially if you are a woman who is engaged in a business practice, because you may have to use all of these tools in business, which can drain you. I think you should be even more intentional about your personal communications as well, so that you can be filled up. If you don't believe me, you can do your own research, ladies, as well, as to the impact of, first of all, the blue light. Second of all, even your eyes being on the screen so much. You can talk to personal trainers and physical therapists about the posture that develops in people now, how there is a lack of strength in certain muscles in your hand and in your wrist and even in your forearm because of all of this as well. And Amy Burns, we're going to have to do a breakfast at Tiffany's where you're walking us through some good Pilates and stretching and increasing our posture in 2021 so that we can take it to the next level. So we're letting go of the status quo. We're reevaluating our new priorities, what is important to us now. And I touched on also looking at how we spend our money. All of these things can come into alignment to a new normal in 2021. And as we're approaching this new year, the time to change and to resolve what we're going to be is now. It's actually every time that you wake up in the morning. Salon, have you thought about any things that will be kind of equivalent of your new normal and resolutions that you want to move forward with in 2021?
Well, I just want to be more present in 2021. I had the tendency to be all things to my kids. Like I was their chef and their chauffeur and the in-home entertainment and everything. Now I'm allowing them to grow up and to do more things themselves. And because of that, I have more time for myself to embark on things that I've always dreamed of doing. So 2021 is about me taking a chance on me. So I'm very excited about that.
And any final advice to our sisters from your perspective on how they can create their new normal and just go into 2021 as a boss?
I say, first of all, know what you want your new normal to look like. A lot of times we get a lot of noise in our heads about what we want our life to look like, but we're not sure what we really, really want out of life. We see other people with their things, we think we want that. We see things on social media, we think we want that. Really take this time, especially before the end of the year, to just look internally, say what would really make me happy, not and not money and not materialistic things. What would make me genuinely happy? And start there and start focusing on that. And I guarantee it, if you really look at it from an honest perspective, and that happiness is peace, happiness is love, happiness is achievement, but feeling like you did something that you always wanted to do, those things are happiness. So really, really look within and see what makes you happy, and then take those first steps, starting from that foundation of happiness that you decided yourself.
Awesome. Awesome. Sara, what about you? What are you looking forward to in creating your own new normal in 2021? And what advice do you have for our queens on how they can for themselves?
I really love with you and Salon what you both just said. I mean, I can kind of echo the same sentiments, but as a single mom who's been raising her son and my whole life, I put into my son and always been in this kind of survival mode, never really taking a step back about me or things like that and what I needed. This time, and this is a great question because to Salon's point, letting them grow up, taking that step back. Now I'm like, oh, wait a minute. So I've done, there's a lot of things and your mind, you get so overwhelmed with it. Like, oh, I've always wanted to do this. I always wanted to do that. Oh, I don't have money. I don't have to. So then I started picking one thing, like Salon said, and I said, I love Christmas too. I don't think I'm as a big fan as Salon though, but Christmas is a great season. And I always said I wanted to go to a light show. I'd never been to a light show, taking myself, treated myself. It doesn't cost a lot of money. All this time I put all these barriers in my head. So I prioritized and I saved to have a little extra money so I can pay for gas. And I know this might sound funny to some people, but this is real life, right? Save money for gas, to buy myself a hot chocolate, and just go and look at a light show. And it was a drive-through light show. It's been the biggest highlight in my life. But although I wanted to do 200 things, you're like, oh my God, this is a great opportunity. Everybody's doing this, everybody's doing that, social media. I want to do this, I want to do that, I want to take a trip, blah, 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 or whatever. I want to build myself. You're not going to be this great person overnight, that you want to be, that you see on social media that people are portraying. That's why I love Breakfast at Tiffany's, because we keep it real and real steps and strategies, and we have time to talk about it. But so for me, it's kind of like, it gave me some time to just think about my health and prioritizing. I don't have to do everything at once. Pick one thing. It's okay. You just feel good about it. I feel really good about it. It was like 2 weeks ago, and I still am high off the little drive show, lighting show that I went to, and it took me like an hour to get there, but that was okay. I had planned for it. It was nice, and I got to enjoy some time doing something that made me feel good. It didn't, so that feel good, moment.
Awesome. Awesome. And I put in the chat, take the barriers out of your own head in the new normal. I love how you said that. Mom, what about you? What are you looking forward to doing in your creating in your new normal? And how would you inspire our queens?
Well, what I created in my new normal was a barrier to dial back accessibility to me, and really discovered during that time, my health is my wealth. So I really focused on my health being in tip top shape, and physically, mentally, and all around during 2021. And I loved it. I love that I discovered more value. People give you accolades and tell you you're the greatest, you're the best, but if you don't understand the fullness of that, it'll wear down on you, and you'll be giving so much more to other people that, you leave you around. So I feel great about bringing myself to the forefront, and it did not encumber others or deprive them of what they need from me. So I'm stepping boldly into 2021 with new confidence and independence. And what I leave with the ladies today is to exhale. 2020, we've been waiting to exhale. Exhale, let go. Exhale the toxin, exhale the negativity, exhale the fantasies, exhale and inhale peace, inhale just the power that is in you, that God has created you to be. Inhale purpose, and just keep walking in victory. You don't have to conquer everything. You're not superwoman, but you are superwoman. But keep yourself first. Take the mask off, not your COVID mask, but the mask of just fakeness, and be who you are so that God can anoint the real you. So exhale, ladies, and inhale more positivity and the love from God.
Awesome, Mom. And now I hope I don't get in trouble for this, because I'm going to put you on the spot. Do you mind please sharing the journey that you
Oh,
embarked upon this
Glad you asked.
semester, because I just think it's so empowering as a part of your new normal.
Oh, absolutely. Thank you. I am, first of all, 65 years old. And in September of 2020, I enrolled in my first official college courses. And the devil just really kind of got in the way. But God, through all of the little rain clouds that came, God was just right there. Just keep doing it. Just keep doing it. My classes weren't available, this and that and the other. I'm like, oh my God, am I going to be able to do this? So I started my process on late in September 7th. I did not get into my class until October 26th, which was a stacked class. I had to do 2 classes in 7 weeks for what people do in 15 weeks, people. And to God be the glory. I have, I believe I have a 4.0 right now, but it's not official in those 2 classes. And what God did in my life, if he can do it for me at 65, he can do it for you. Through that time, about a week before I started class, my nephew died suddenly. On the day, 2 days before the class, a loved one told me that they had COVID. The day before the class, my brother died. But God said, you got this. I opened up my laptop, sat down to class, and I have not looked back. I was up until 4 a.m. last night, finishing an assignment that is actually due to end on the 20th. But you know what? Officially, it says my last day of class was the 18th. And I said, God, I am not taking this past the 18th. No. So I started, and I hammered away. And I am free of class for the next 4 weeks. But just know that you can do anything. God is able to do anything that you set your mind to. So I thank God. And I have to give a shout out to my son, Mike, who really just encouraged me and dropped the bug. Mom, you need to go because now you can get free tuition. Oh, and did I say I don't have to pay a dime? And I got back $1,000 of overage refund. So welcome to college life. And that's my testimony. That's what I'm taking into 2021.
Well, if that doesn't inspire you ladies to create a new normal, mom will be 66 on December 30th.
Yes.
And she knows that it's not too late. She deferred her college dreams for me to raise me. And she has raised 5 college educated children. She has partnered with my dad, who was college educated, but ended up finishing school. He also deferred kind of finishing, for his family. But, he decided to go on and finish and went on and got 3 degrees, including his doctorate. So this woman has partnered with and nurtured the dreams of 6 other people. Yet she knew when it was her time. And she didn't have the mental barrier of thinking my time is past or I'm not worthy at this point in time. She knew her value. She's stepping forward in it. And the best is yet to come for you, Mom. And I'm so excited and thankful for all that you've poured into me and what you pour into us at Breakfast at Tiffany's as well. We love you. So I'm going to, and there's a lot of chat love for you as well. I know I've talked a lot today, ladies, and this is, again, if you're joining us for the first time on Breakfast at Tiffany's, we welcome you. This is not what the experience is always like. We normally have a guest on, and the guest is doing all the talking. But again, we wanted to end this year very personally, pouring into your life, as Sara said, being very real, and letting you know kind of what our story and journey is as we're creating a new normal with you. So I want to leave you with just reading off what I created right before my birthday this year. And this was back in the end of May. My birthday is June 2nd, in case anyone wants to write that down, June 2nd. Okay, so I wrote down my rules for the new normal because I knew at that time that even though it was May and this pandemic kind of started February, March, and the lockdown for us in March, I knew that quickly I had to shift. Sisters, I want you to see the signs around you every day and don't be afraid to quickly shift. So my rules for the new normal, and consider writing your own. I no longer apologize for being me. I thank me. 2, I no longer do anything that is not furthering my purpose. Anything else is a waste of time. Number 3, I expect the best of intentions from others. I bring my best intentions. Number 4, in my leadership, I only do what only I can do. I give the highest use of me. Number 5, I live for what I would die for. For Christ I live, for Christ I die. 6, I refuse to work for money. I require money to work for me. 7, I put the oxygen mask on myself first before trying to assist others. 8, I love fiercely and unconditionally because love is a perpetual commodity. I am made of love, by love, because God is love. Number 9, I no longer strive to bring the heat because I realize I am the fire. I will blaze for his glory. And number 10, nothing shall separate me from the love of God, not tribulation, distress, persecution, peril, height, nor depth. No, nothing shall separate me from the love of God. Those are my 10 rules for the new normal. I invite you, sisters, to create your own and to go into 2021 having finished your course strong in 2020, having finished this day, which is the day the Lord has made, strong each and every day. I thank you all for your support, for your love. You are the expression of my purpose. You are the reason why I wake up inspired, why I woke up at 4 a.m. 3 times a week to teach to women law students in Saudi Arabia, because you all inspire me as the global society of women that I am blessed to be a part of, and to represent you and to let our light shine collectively as your representative in places that we can't all go together. I'm there with you and representing you. So I'm thankful for this platform. I look forward to 2021. I want to recognize my new intern, Vidi Madan. Vidi is on today. I love you. She is a high school student, y'all, who just got her driver's license the other day, but she has her own women's empowerment organization, which she's had for several years, and she is a high school junior. And she just supported me getting up, staying up till 1 in the morning every night for the past 2 weeks during the week to support me in doing my PowerPoints, and has helped me even create some of them for teaching law school in India, just because she is interested in going to law school and wanted to gain that knowledge. I want you to aspire to have Vidi's passion and fire for what it is that you want out of life. Be willing to go all in. So I love you, sisters. I just pray a blessing over you right now, that God would empower you, that his peace would sustain you, that his love would be all that you desire in life, and that you would find yourself, your purpose, your motivation through the love that he's poured into you, that you would find and discover inwardly the gifts and the treasures that he's planted inside of you, and bring them out for such a time as this, that you would know that you are today's Esther, and that the world needs you. In Jesus' name I pray, amen. Sisters, go in grace, go in peace. We will see you next year. In January, we're going to have, I'll give you the date now, January 23rd, we're going to have a nutritionist and trainer, my very good friend, Stacy Youngblood Veneman, who is amazing. I've known her for many years, and she's going to come and empower us with some good wellness. And Amy, we're going to have to schedule you next. Maybe we can have you as well to also just lead us in some movement. Thank you for being so open and willing. All right, sisters, God bless you. We'll stay on and chat.